Hello, you've reached Hack Games. My name is Jeremy, and this is episode 8 of our Reformed Fiend playthrough of Pathfinder. Last episode, we assisted Jenna Aldori in retrieving a cart full of beer from the market square. So we thought, why not head over to the wine cellar and see if there's anything for us to pick up there. We fought some wights, but we did not find any extra booze. We then made our way over to the library, where we are at currently. We did check, and we don't have our library cards with us, so we're going to have to talk to the librarians up here. Caleb's a stocky knight with a head of messy black hair. His armor is spattered with blood. He greets us with a deep, booming voice. Ha! Crusaders! Excellent! I am Captain Caleb Sazelmal, and these are my men. I am about to burn these vile backstabbers and heretics here. These pathetic imitators of the traitor Arilu who tricked their way into the ranks of the Crusaders. The knight nods at the fellows over here on the books. His left eye is twitching suspiciously. It's either a nervous tick or he's winking at us. A strange feeling rises up within us. It's pure instinct. You don't know what you're about to do, but you are certain that it is right. First of all, we'll go ahead and take a lore religion check here to examine their armor and the symbols on it. We've succeeded. The emblems on the armor of two silent crusaders belong to the Order of the Flaming Lance, but Caleb's armor bears the sigil of the Order of the Sunrise Sword. Strange, then, that he introduced himself as their captain. Something's not right. We'll go ahead and take our perception check to try to take a closer look at these crusaders. Caleb is talking too loudly, all while casting sidelong looks at you. You have seen similar behavioral quirks before, in liars. So what we're going to do here, we're not going to go trickster, but we are going to go ahead and access this trickster mythic path. Idiots, stop! Heed my command in the name of Baphomet. The words fly out of our mouth before we can even think of them. Some gut instinct told you that this is precisely what needs to be said in this moment, and the words hit their target. The Crusaders jump in surprise and look at each other in terror. Didn't you know, mortal? We're everywhere. Sorry, couldn't have known. We'll fix it right away. And I'm going to go ahead and say, stop wasting valuable fuel. If you like burning books, go rig the Grey Garrison Library. Our enemies might try to sneak in there. Step to it. There's plenty more where that came from. I'll do everything you've ordered, and just as soon as those Crusaders arrive, they'll be dead meat. I'll go make sure that we get make it another 2 barrels of alchemist fire from the Grey Garrison storeroom. Things are going to burn right up in there. So the choices that we made right there are necessary to unlock the Trickster Mythic path. Again, we won't be selecting that path, but it's an easy way to just get rid of these guys. And so as we can see up here, we've got the Storyteller and some Crusaders. If you show up here later, I know if you show up after you defend the Grey Garrison, all of these Crusaders are dead for sure, but there's some kind of intermittent point where they're actually on fire, and you can make decisions as to whether to try to save them or not. The Storyteller is a blind elf, stands before us. He looks extremely strange. His face wears its years heavily, which is unusual for a member of his race. Thinning gray hair, a ragged beard, sightless milky eyes, pale, papery skin covered in age spots, a spine curved by the passage of time. This is not how elves typically age. The youth that graces the faces of elves, even on their deathbed, has totally abandoned this decrepit specimen. That is an elf? With a beard? I guess the worst can be found even among the best. Hello, I am Storyteller, and I wish to thank my rescuers. That is you, if I'm not mistaken? Storyteller? Ha! That's the first time I've ever heard of a venerable old-timer like that having a street name. Sometimes a person can lose their name, but Mama and Papa are gone, friends are gone, and there's nobody to ask what it was. So instead of their name, a person can pick any word that's good. Everybody has to have a name. Or do they? I don't know. Who are you? I prefer people call me Storyteller. It very accurately describes the sphere of my occupations and interests. In most of the places I have been, I am known by that name. When I was little, my mother and father used to tell me stories, but I have no one to tell me stories now. Sometimes Grandma does in my dreams, but I always forget them in the morning. Can you tell me a story? For you, I may have a story to tell, but perhaps it is you who has a story for me. I want to talk to you about something. In thanks for my rescue, I of course will render you a service in turn, whatever it may be. However, at this moment I wish to be somewhere safer than the present surroundings. My recent adventures have fatigued me greatly. I would be grateful if you could help me to a safe shelter of some kind. Typical. You do someone a good turn and instead of saying thank you, they just ask for more help. Go easy on the old elf. He has had a rough go of it. Yeah, because we've had it so easy. We can't not help him. If it was up to me, Grandfather Elf, I'd throw you over my shoulder and carry you out of here. This is no place for old folks. So if we select the I'm taking you to Defender's Heart option, we can immediately go back to Defender's Heart. I do want to explore the rest of the library here, though, so I'm going to say I have other things to do. I'll help you later. In that case, I will remain here for now. Wandering the city while it's under attack by demons would be inadvisable for a blind person. Don't forget to take me with you when you're going to a safe place. So first up, we're going to talk to Claim, who's the leader of the Crusaders here. Allow me to introduce myself. Brother Claim, at your service. Thank you for helping us. We thought we were doomed to perish. There is death everywhere here. Sometimes I think we are all doomed. But then death has passed us by, and we are still all alive. But you're an elf. You should live hundreds of years and never even worry about dying. Little elf girls shouldn't even know such words. When children are thrown into the middle of a war, they learn many sad things. That is why we have to win, so that other boys and girls don't have to learn what we did. Who are you? We are Crusaders of the Order of the Flaming Lance. Our order dedicates itself to the pursuit of hidden knowledge and magical methods of fighting demons. We are searching for our leader, Sister Miamir, the scholar. She spent the last few weeks here, working day and night on some important research. When the demons attacked the city, we rushed here to find her, but it seems she left the city shortly before the attack began. Miamir just left the city, leaving no word of where she can be found? None. She left in a hurry without leaving any notes or orders. Why? I have no idea. The only thing that may serve as a clue is this book, the one she was studying. Mimir's note mentioned something about a stone book belonging to the Druids of Old Sarkoris. What does that mean? Stone books? The Druids of Old Sarkoris used sacred trees as books. They carved their secret knowledge on the bark. When the demons came, the Druids resorted to a dark ritual that turned the trees to stone, and the Druids themselves into undead, doomed to guard their stone library grove forever. But that happened far from here in the Stone Wilds. Is it possible that's where Miamir went? Or maybe she found one of those trees somewhere nearby. I don't know. How did you end up in this trap? That traitor met us at the door. He seemed a faithful and passionate crusader, and we didn't suspect a thing until they attacked us from behind and knocked us out. We didn't expect such trickery. Most of our order brethren are dead, and we were desperate to believe that this man in armor was a fellow crusader, a comrade. While we were unconscious, they removed our armor and tossed us on the pyre of books. What macabre blasphemy. Ain't it always the way? You start to think you might be able to trust a fellow, and boom, he goes and stabs you in the back. But if you never trust anyone, then soon you'll become a killer, just like Hulrin. That's hardly better, is it? Pah, don't start on that now. Fine, you convinced me, you can trust people. But only one in every dozen, I'd say, and not for very long. Who's this elf with you? Is he a crusader as well? No, he calls himself Storyteller, and he only recently arrived in Canabris. We often saw him in the library. He was interested in the writings about early Sarkoris and the era before that. It seems the traitor caught him in the library and decided to kill him along with the rest of us. Have you noticed that the Storyteller is a little odd? Even for Canabris, where you can meet the strangest people from the farthest corners of the globe among the Crusaders. Have you ever seen such a decrepit elf before? Not just old, but ancient. With a gray beard like that? Elves don't tend to grow beards, I thought. And they don't have wrinkles. An elf with wrinkles and a beard. A detestable absurdity. Hold on there. A beard isn't the worst thing a person can have growing on their face. You should see some of the people back in my village. The worst thing that's growing on your face is your mouth. Please try to open it a little less often. Go to Defender's Heart. Those who are ready to fight back are gathering there. The city still fights? Why, that's incredible news. We will go to our sanctuary guarded by our order brothers and sisters. We will bring them to the Defender's Heart. And so now we've gotten one extra group. Oh, I guess I can't go to the journal quite yet. Oops. There, now we can. So now we've gotten one extra group, the Knights of the Flaming Lance, who have joined us. So that's 3 allies. I don't believe we can get more than 3. If we can, I actually don't know where to find the other ones currently. So, let's go ahead and search the library here to see what we can find. I guess first we'll go loot up here.
I'm gone.
A lot of books. There are 4, I believe. I'll have to look at my spreadsheet that I made, but I believe there are 4 books in this section which, when you read them, give you bonuses. It's either 4 or 3.
Follow my steps.
And those are the only ones that I've found in Act 1. The 1 book from the Shield Maze and the 3 or 4 books from this area.
Let's head out.
Oh, found a secret door here. Elephant is slow about opening that, I guess. Got a quarterstaff of coercion, and let's see if we can make this knowledge roll check.
Damn, it's just not my lucky day.
We did fail it, and that's okay. We did also get a magic essence, though, and it's very important that you pick these up when you can, because they're used to create relics later through the Storyteller. Also, we received that quarterstaff of coercion right here, which does give you +1 to the DC for all will saving throws against spells the wielder casts. This is a very good weapon at this stage for Nenio. Nenio is going to specialize in illusions, maybe necromancy, depending on how you want to level her up. But things that don't require ranged touch attacks, and it's best to kind of get her as high of a DC on her spells as you can, because that's the only way that people are going to be able to avoid the damage from them.
Let us be careful.
Alright, I think we about got everything here.
Impossible.
We failed that one too. Just can't figure out what caused this huge rift in the ground, even though we were there and saw it happen. Alright, I think that's covered everything in the library here. We're going to go ahead and take him to the Defender's Heart. The Defender's Heart greets us with unexpected liveliness. Beyond the walls of the tavern, the once bustling and festive city lies in ruins, but somehow none of that can be felt within these walls. The people in the room are talking, laughing, raising toasts, even softly singing. It doesn't look like typical tavern revelry, but nor is it the grim vigilance of recent days. Come, let me properly introduce you to Elin, Janna, and Curl, the fearless warriors of the League of the Inspiring Heart. It was me who convinced Irbeth to use what Janna, Curl, and Elin found for a little party. If you look out the window, you might think the end times have come and the abyss has devoured us all. I thought some simple pleasures, good food and good company, could help keep the gloom at bay. We're going to choose the lawful option? No, actually, we're going to choose the good option. I understand. We need to continue living and fighting, however hard that might be, even amidst the chaos that has befallen the city. Allow me to declare my support for Sela's decision as well. Experience tells me that we should shed no tears until after our victory. If we start to mourn the fallen while battle is still raging, we'll be jeopardizing all our efforts. Now is the time for rest. We'll bury the dead after the last demon has been driven from Canabras. Hey, are we just gonna sit here with grim faces? I say we get to know each other a little better, so we have better reasons to toast. Well, tell me about your order and yourself, Elin. As stories go, it's not very entertaining. I was born far to the south, in Andorran. I lost my parents early, led the life of a simple mercenary, but often questioned the path I had chosen. I'm proud of my sword skills, I enjoy training and drills, and I'm not afraid of battle. But risking my life for coin, it takes a special mindset to choose with that lot with no regrets. You have to want to risk your blood. I saw too many of my friends die, and I wondered if it was worth it. So in the end, I decided to choose another path. Now, if I'm going to lay down my life, at least it will be for a good cause. That's how I ended up in Mendev, and became a squire for the Houndhearts. It's a small order. By tradition, it never has more than 12 members, and a new member is only knighted after one of the elders dies. We patrol the lands along the Wardstone line, and provide aid to travelers and settlers. Unfortunately, death is common among the Houndhearts. I became a full knight 2 years ago, after laying my mentor to rest. But I'm content with my choice. My place is among the Crusaders. Have you been serving in the Eagle Watch for long now? I signed up 4 days before the demon attack. Am I lucky or what? I'm an apprentice of a famous fencing master from Nivon, and I learned a thing or two from him, believe me. I soon got bored of fighting off bandits and getting involved in petty squabbles of the bickering river kingdoms. I wanted a proper challenge, and you can't find a better place than Mendev. And what do you know? The moment I arrived, the demonic invasion began. My father would say that's no accident. Fate brought me here. What about you, Curl? How did you end up among the condemned? I just did what everybody else was doing. I grew up in the slums where everybody stole a little, or maybe smuggled, or guarded stashes, But I never killed anybody, and I never did anything really bad. I got caught stealing, and when they made me choose between prison and the condemned, well, of course I didn't want to go to prison. I'm not that good a fighter, but as Norgorber is my witness, a thief can also be useful in a war against demons. I've always been a good scout. I can sneak under the nose of any monster, but I don't know where my friends are now. We got separated when the demons rampaged through the city. Chin up, friend. Whoever you were in the past, you're our friend now, and a crusader. Your skills will be useful to us, you'll see. How do all of you know Sela? I met my noble sister on the road to Canabras. I was returning from the south, from my fiancée, and was happy to be in the company of a paladin of Iomade. We said our farewells at the city gates, and I went north, along the road to Dresden to my order's camp. The demons attacked us there at the same time they struck Canabras, but we managed to fight them off. We hurried to the city's aid and joined the forces with the Eagle Watch. All my fellow Houndhearts were wounded during the battle on the streets. I'm the last knight of my order who can still fight. It's so good to see Sela again. Every loyal heart counts these days. I met Sela at a tavern in Canabras, before the attack, of course. She was one of the few who would sit at a table with the condemned. Knights usually don't even look at us, but Sela is different. I knew it at the moment I saw her. That's what made me notice Sela too, so I sat down to talk to her. I never understood why everyone treated the condemned so horribly, and I still don't. Our Curl is a great lad, so after that night, Sela and I went round the taverns together every day. Mendev is an amazing place. People from all over the world come here, for glory, redemption, or to help those in trouble. And they always find each other. This might be the best place in the world to find like-minded people and friends. That was a toast, in case you hadn't noticed. Sela, did you call me over just because, or is something the matter? I didn't just want to talk to you about today's celebration. You see, Elin is in trouble. I want to help him, and I don't know anyone else in the city I can turn to. His fellow knights were all wounded in battle. Bad idea, sister. I told you. I don't want to bother anyone else with my problems. I need to handle them on my own. Oh, come on. Hiding your sadness from your friends is no way to live. Curl is right. We helped them find you. Without our help, she'd still be looking for you all over Canabras. So Elin, come on, stop being so stubborn. Tell me more. In all truth, I do not wish to impose. My problems are just minor troubles. A paladin of Iomade and her friends certainly have more important things to do, especially now that Canabras has been overrun with demons. If I've learned anything in life, it's that there's nothing minor about good and evil. Take the three of you, for example. It seems like all you did was save one cart from some lesser demons. But look at how many people are happy now. That feat will never be sung of in songs, but who knows, maybe thanks to this one joyous hour of peace and rest, the defenders of Canabras will find the strength to protect the city. I talk too much, don't I? Well, Sir Elin, I want to help you, and my reputation as a holy warrior of Iomedae won't suffer if it's more of a minor adventure than a glorious feast. Alright, I'll explain. The life of a Crusader has given me more than just a purpose and a chance to serve a righteous cause. When I abandoned the life of a mercenary and came to Mendev, I gained something else I never expected. It's here that I met, may all the ladies here forgive me, the finest girl in all the world. It's a miracle she found any love in her own heart for a bungler like me. But I'm not about to let this miracle go. Not even the Demon Lord Dascari and all his demon army can stand in my way. Luckily, my beloved is now safely away from Canabras. For half a year I've been getting up my courage to propose to her. I even ordered a ring from Derek Sunhammer, the best jeweler in Mendev. Independent knightly orders live mostly off donations, and I'm not what you would call rich. But I so want to make Kiana happy. Oh, it took me 3 months to find a jewel of the same shade as her eyes, and twice that long to scrape together enough money. Master Derek's work was worth it, but I lost the ring during the demon attack, and I'll probably never find a worthy replacement. The ring is most likely still at the Houndheart's camp outside the city. Elin and his friends didn't have time to pack up their camp. First the demons ambushed them, and then they rushed off to help Canabras. I think we should at least go there and check. Not right now, of course, but once the situation in the city is under control. Fine, I'll help. Thanks for agreeing to help. Elin is a good man and true knight, and I think the world should repay those who are so devoted to doing good. Let's help him, so he can propose to his beloved the way he wanted. Seela, I hope you can convince Irbeth to let me go with you when you do this. I don't want to be parted from my friends. Of course! If the League of the Inspiring Cart has come together in this dark hour, we must continue onward together. There's an update to our quest. So that one now is not until next chapter that we can continue. We do have some other things to talk to Seela about. Let's see if we can get those. Yeah. What do you think of what's going on in Canabras? It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people and our protector Terendelev died here in Canabras. A paladin of Iomedae is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against us. It can undermine a warrior's spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon and cultists away from the city. We'll select the lawful option. There's wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them. All the more so if inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people's loved one perished in Canabras. You may be right. I should keep myself in check more. Better discipline, more self-control, qualities suited to a paladin. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads? Or at least a dozen, if they're lively ones. Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the World Wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve good. Being part of the Crusade is reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focusing on just one aim, the war against the World Wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things, ordinary misfortunes, you know. I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big, important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Alright, so that covers Seela. I believe as far as the companions go, we still have to talk with Camellia, Woljif, and Lan, and now we've got the Storyteller and Ember as well. Woljif will actually wait until we finish up the Moon of the Abyss quest line, so we just have to go back to the Tiefling headquarters. But let's talk to Camellia here before we go back out on the road. Greetings. Tell me about yourself. You want to know more about me than you already do? Why? I talk to the spirits of this tormented land and they guide me in battle. I'll help you fight the demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in this matter. Isn't that sufficient? Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers. Although they don't get all the credit, I am a most diligent student. Your speech tells me you are of noble birth. You're most insightful. A fine quality to have. Still, I believe that being of noble birth does not give anyone the right to look down on others. Is that so? Well, thank you for sharing your opinion with me. Your amulet is quite unusual. Where did you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It's so nice of you to notice. But I assure you, this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things? Anyway, as much as I enjoy our delightful conversations, the spirits are calling me and I must respond. Please excuse me. Alright, we're going to talk to the Storyteller because we need to do that to progress his quest. Is that you, my savior? I recognize your footsteps. Determined footsteps. Befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciation. We received his ring and 368 experience. Irabeth has explained why you are looking for me. I warned the authorities of Canabras that the local wardstone had been desecrated. They waved off my warning and paid for their inaction. I have examined many wardstones, but only in the one guarding Canabras did I sense a flaw, a spot of corruption inside. A vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what it will be capable of. The wardstones must be destroyed. Who are you, and why did they let you examine the wardstone? I'm the Storyteller, just an old elf, and a bit more. I am old even for an elf. I've seen many things and have been to many places. Not so long ago, I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the Stolen Lands, led by a remarkable and promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering those lands proved useful to that leader. This is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation as an old vagrant who's never hurt anyone, stayed out of others' squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I have had a few friends in Neroshian who vouched for my integrity. This is why my humble request to be allowed to see the wardstones was granted. I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Canabras. So that story about the River Kingdoms is the Kingmaker storyline, and you are the character that he assisted in that. Do you wield some special magic power? Some instinct? Yes, to a certain extent. But it is more of a gift. I can see the past, stories that have happened. I touch an object and shreds of its owner's memories are revealed to my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world, gathering such stories for many thousands of years. One day I will gather them all. What blight is concealed in the wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have the answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, we need to understand how the wardstone was created, and it is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not yet born at the time. A demoness called Minago invaded the city with a crowd of her followers and started to do what demons do best, kill and desecrate. They say they covered the wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomedae herself? The locals think this is impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here. Even the terrifying Baelor, Koramzada? Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is when the seed of corruption was planted in the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but Discari himself has now come to take advantage of this weakness, to open up the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Canabras. And when the demon lord struck the blow, the weakened stone gave in. Now it's in the demon's hands, and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight throughout the entire stone, and from it to the other stones along the whole perimeter of the whirlwind. Why did you travel to the wardstones? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the wardstones were unclear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning, and it was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand where one of them ended and the next began. I have heard you, Storyteller. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish it from the wardstone. As far as I know, there is nothing like it in Canabras, but the demons might have something. I heard the dying roar of Terendelev, the Silver Dragon, the protector of the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar powers sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go to where Terendel perished and search there for something. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but intuition and a strange sense of rightness tell me to point you there. Present the purple stone knife. I found this in the square where Terendel perished. What do you make of it? Even from here I can feel strange energies emanating from this object. If you don't mind, I will examine it. Using my method, I will try to see the past of its owner, their emotions, and shreds of their memories. Maybe it'll help us better understand what we're dealing with. Hunger. My many legs bring me into the lair, to my mother's feasting hall. Her swollen body overfilled with food is so huge that I have to look at it with all of my eyes at once. On top is her scrawny little head, with a long beak that is always yearning for more food. We feel feverish, and our chest, where the wound is concealed, feels hot. Our mind is flooded with a wave of visions that repeat the words of the elf. Mother greets me with a placid screech. Stupid, greedy wretch, whose only achievement is my birth. A creeping, wingless creature. It's your fault I have no wings. A symbol of greatness, a birthright I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to a crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn and they fly to me, enveloping me in a teeming cloud. Like dark buzzing wings, they unfold behind my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her limp, bloated body with my claws. Ichor splatters the bone spurs on my heels sink into her flesh. I clench her pitiful tiny head and tear it off along with the shreds of meat. Victory! I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father. Appalling. Stories like this are the most difficult ones to keep with me. Did this knife belong to a demon? The storyteller opens his mouth to answer, but a spasm crosses his face. A new vision, stronger, engulfs the old elf. Even looking at the wordstone is difficult. Despite the corruption nesting in it, it still has an aura of strength. Your fingers clench at the stone hilt so tight that it hurts. A little spot on the flawless surface of the wordstone draws our attention. It looks like a butterfly. Corruption in the guise of something utterly harmless, but it will grow. You swing and stab the butterfly with the knife as hard as you can. Your fingers cramp painfully. A howl invades your ears. Light, white light everywhere. What was that? That was not the past. That was something that is yet to happen. Or rather, might happen. One of the roads to the future. In one of the possible futures, this item will help you to cleanse the wardstone, or to destroy it. We feel a longing to plunge the blade into our chest, but we're able to resist it. Never before has anything like this happened to me, but how? I'm not an oracle or a prophet, or is this another riddle from the past that has caught up with me? I must find out. Seeing stories that have happened is one thing, but seeing stories that are yet to happen, I don't know why this is happening now, but there is one thing I'm sure of. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of coming changes. I shared your vision, and this knife tempted me. Did you see what I saw? That has never happened before. Could it be the magic of the object that you brought me? I sense dark energies in it that can cloud and charm the mind. Be careful with this item. It may have tried to influence you, but you managed to overcome its power and subdue it. Or perhaps something else happened to us, something we don't yet understand. Can you see the future? I don't know. Obviously I can, but nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The future never opened its secrets to me before I met you. Gods, who are you and why have our paths crossed? I feel this is not a coincidence. Something momentous is happening. Destiny is pushing us towards something. But what? Questions without answers. I swear this morning I couldn't have imagined what awaited me. Well, maybe it's the knife that gives you the power of divination. This knife is a powerful artifact, but I feel that its power is of a different nature. No, I felt the same as I do when I tell the past. This is my gift, but manifested in a completely abnormal way. Is what you saw destined to happen? No, the future is not set. It used to be, a long time ago, when the god Eredin guarded Golarion, but not now. Prophecies do not come true, or they do, but not in the way they were supposed to. I only saw one version of the future, one of the paths leading to it, but the choice has not been made, and our destinies are not set in stone. Who were you in your vision? I don't know. Someone strong and desperate enough to resort to extreme measures? I felt that what I was doing had to be done. Your powers are amazing. A few minutes ago I would have agreed with you. But the thing that just happened, it disturbs me. My gift has never manifested like this. Something has changed, and these changes frighten me. Can I help you? I appreciate your offer. I have reason to believe that somewhere in Canabras there is a manuscript authored by an elf from Keonan who witnessed Earthfall. For personal reasons, I would like to examine it. But no matter how hard I try, I have failed to find it. Even in the Blackwing Library, I only found a mention that the manuscript exists and is held somewhere within the city. I assume it's stored at the Grey Garrison. They wouldn't let me into the archive when I visited, and those Crusaders were nervous about the strange blind elf interested in their secrets. It's understandable. The Crusade naturally made them a little paranoid. But now the Grey Garrison has fallen into the enemy's hands. I would be grateful if I could see the manuscript. Please examine the items I am carrying. Perhaps some of them could tell us a story. Grabs Radiance. Powerful forces lie dormant in this sword. It used to belong to an incredibly bright and daring soul. Takes one of Terendilev's scales. Proud Terendelev, protector of Canabras, you devoted your life to serving people. Your death is a great loss, but maybe I will be able to find out something about you that is unknown to your many admirers. And last but not least, Finian. What a peculiar weapon. I sense intelligence in it, but it seems dented. Ah ha ha ha, Grandpa Elf. Watch where you're poking your fingers. It tickles. Shall we? So we will present Radiance. Actually, what we'll do is we will save these for the next time we come back. Return with new stories. I will be waiting. I have to go. We are going to sell some stuff here real quick. Is there any magic stuff that we don't want? We'll hold on to it for now. I thought I put Tiger on Camellia here, but maybe I did not. He's being a bit of a bum. And we're going to give Denio this staff, and we'll just set her to auto-cast once she gets in the party to auto-cast something. Let me put this over here, actually. Let's see, do we want to switch out anyone else's gear here? Oh, I guess we should probably wear... No, it doesn't look like we're wearing that. Maybe Sela can wear this fire resistance ring. So we've got a one-handed battle axe, an orc double axe. I think we're gonna save the armor for now, but we'll sell those weapons.
Tread lightly.
Now let's put the rest of the junk in here. I'm going to go through and read the books real quick. In order to get the bonuses from them, you don't have to entirely read through them, but you do have to click on the info on them. Oh, we've got a fork. I don't want that fork either. We'll sell that in just a second here. So we learned 4 new things. And we can see which books we learned them from by just going to the abilities here. So the Tome of the Minotaur is the one that we received in the Shield Maze. So Temples of Iomedae, Father Lorien's Guide, which grants us a +1 shield bonus against demons. Terendilov, the Guardian of Canabras, which grants us a +1 morale bonus to armor classes against dragons. The Keen Edge of Truth grants us a +1 competence bonus on saving throws against swarms. And Guino Pollen's Notes from Travels gives us a +1 competence bonus to attacks and damage on all natural attacks, which our bites do count as natural attacks. So this will be one that will actually assist us. Oops, I wanted to click on Marshall. It doesn't list all of our bite attacks. Kinda wish it would. We do have 2 all the time and 3 when we drink our mutagen, currently. So, what do we have left? No, I need to sell some junk here. And this fork. We're gonna go see if we have anything we need to talk to Irabeth about. I found Jana Eldori, like you asked. Yes, thank you. It's good to have her back. We need every fighter we can get. I suppose it's asking too much to want fighters that are sober as well. And we could already go attack the Grey Garrison because we have talked to the Tieflings, which gave us the passageway to the Grey Garrison. We have talked to the Storyteller and talked to him about the knife. Those are really the two things that you need to complete in order to start the assault on the Grey Garrison. We don't want to do that right now, though. So we're just going to tell her we have to go. We'd rather explore the rest of the city and kind of get things taken care of. We do have to talk to Visalia as well. Whenever I sleep outside the walls of Defender's Heart, I'm plagued by terrible dreams. Can you help me? You look tired, but otherwise entirely healthy. If we were anywhere else, I would simply tell you to get some rest, but we are on the border of the World Wound, and I'm all too aware of what's happening to you. As you know, the Wound is a rift between Golarion and the Abyss, and all the evil that feeds the Abyss does the opposite in our world. It feeds on Golarion. So it is that even when we cannot see demons near us, our ultimate foe, the Abyss, is always surrounding us. Many soldiers fighting in the World Wound experience similar things. They suffer terrible nightmares, get no peace, and sometimes even lose their minds. But we are trying to help you with this affliction. By the will of Abadar, I have consecrated an altar here. The God's grace permeates the space around it, soothing one's soul and quieting thoughts during rest. So if you find your nerves are fraying, seek out a holy place like this, approach it, and all the corruption will be cleansed from us. Alright, let's just make sure we don't have anything else to talk to people about here. That's good, that's good. Oh, we should talk to Nenyo. And we should talk to Thorn. I believe those are the 2 that we should do. So, let's go talk to Nenyo. Girl, I am pleased with you. I asked you to bring me to safety, and that's exactly what you did. Indeed, having a follower to aid me is most efficient, and frankly pleasing. With you on hand, I shall conquer new horizons, plumb the depths of knowledge hitherto unknown, and scale the dizzying heights of future discoveries. What I mean is, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude. I foresee immense potential in our future cooperation. I'm happy to help. Hand in hand, we will unravel the greatest mysteries inaccessible to the minds of ordinary people. Just imagine it. I, leading the way, proudly staring into the faces of the gods themselves, and you, my loyal follower, walking behind me every step of the way, writing down my deepest thoughts and admiring the profundity of my intellect. If we hold hands, you won't be able to go in front of me and lead the way. You are the catalyst which, when it reacts with my intellect, will allow the latter to grasp the very essence of the universe itself. Do you always express your delight so effusively? What? Who are you? Oh yes, my new follower. So what am I supposed to do? Oh yes, I must provide some verbal encouragement for your as yet modest achievements, and try to induce you to strive for more of such encouragement. That is the principle that underpins any training. Ah, I see. Your modest nature was unsettled by the overabundance of my gratitude. I do apologize for putting you in such an awkward position. I will never praise you again, unless I forget. But let's get back to the business at hand. Your new assignment will be to take me to the inconspicuous ruins that are located in an even more inconspicuous valley, lying just between Canabras and Dresden, as soon as is reasonably practicable. I'll mark the place on your map with a large red cross so you won't forget it. What's so special about these ruins near Canabras? I'm glad you asked. That is my greatest hypothesis, my secret project, and I won't pass up the opportunity to share it with you, because you are my most loyal follower, and you are worthy of possessing such knowledge, and also because you were the first person to ever ask me about it. Some time ago, I was walking around the border of the Worldwood, and I met a strange person. He was wearing a frayed, gray robe, and his face was hidden behind an odd white mask. Of course, I didn't miss the opportunity to ask him about the reasons for his absurd appearance, and do you know what he said to me? He said, "I am the answer, but what is the question?" Then he walked off in the direction of the Worldwood. The next day, after I had already forgotten about the first encounter, I had another similar encounter. This time I met an elven woman, judging by the pointy ears sticking out from behind the mask. "I am the answer, but what is the question?" she said before taking off toward the Worldwood. And then I realized, everything became clear to me. I know a mystery when I see one. Consider this one of my myriad talents. After all these geysers weren't simply on their way to a costume party, were they? After examining several maps, I determined that they were all heading in one direction, to a place not far from Canabras, a place which is marked as Nameless Ruins, even on ancient Sarkorian maps. That's where I need to go. Unraveling the secret of that place will be my greatest discovery. It will secure my place in history, or perhaps even in legend. How do you know where we have to go? Do you know how to find a beehive in a forest? You need to catch 2 bees, set them free in 2 different locations of the forest, and remember the directions they fly in. Then you take a map and draw lines showing the bees' routes. The place where the lines intersect will mark the location of the beehive. Fascinating, yes? By the way, forest bees do not make any honey. I use the beehive principle here too. For a couple of months I tracked the strange people in the masks and observed the direction in which they were traveling. I collected the coordinates, mapped their estimated routes, and made a discovery. All the routes intersected at the Nameless Ruins not far from Canabras. What do you expect to find there? I haven't the slightest idea. If I knew what was hidden there, I wouldn't be so eager to go. These ruins aren't very far from Canabras. You could easily get there by yourself. Why do you need me? Don't you see? This is a legendary secret place. Who knows what may happen to me after I lift the veil and uncover the workings of the universe? My mortal body may be unable to contain all that knowledge, or perhaps I will ascend and become equal to the gods themselves. I need you to write down everything that happens and report my fate to the interested parties in Absalom. And don't forget to praise me as I deserve while you're there. You know these ruins of yours may turn out to be just that, ruins. In that case, we'll write this experiment off as a failure and start another one. I don't know which experiment I'll try next. That's all I wanted to know about your task. Well, now you know, so off we go. Did I just make a rhyme? Perhaps I've discovered poetic talent in myself. Let's conduct an experiment. Quickly, say any word, and I'll try to find a rhyme for it right away. Whatever. Not too clever, now or never. Not the best rhymes, don't you think? Well, this experiment was unsuccessful. We learned that I have no poetic talent after all. But it's no reason to despair. Having a gift of poetry in addition to my inexhaustible intelligence would have been a little too much. Besides, I am catastrophically busy, and I have no time to spend on writing poetry. I don't like it when you call me girl. My name's Hack. On the grand scale of world history, your name is irrelevant. I have no reason to remember it. You see, the brain of any given individual can only contain a limited amount of facts. I only expend my memory on things that are truly important. The laws of thermodynamics, divine esoteria, planetary geography, things that will lead Galarian to a brighter future. Besides, what if I make a great discovery, but I won't be able to remember it because my memory is full of outdated or useless information? What a nightmare that would be. What a loss for the whole of Galarian. But you do remember your own name, right? Only so I know what to put for the author's name in my encyclopedia. Are there any names worth remembering? There are, and to my deepest regret, there are too many of them. The names of gods and demigods, the names of rulers, conquerors, and other persons by some reason deemed great by the people of Galarian. They etch their names into history, and alas, every self-respecting educated person must know them. But there are some names I'm happy to remember. Great scientists, some of them divine, others mortal, true keepers of knowledge and great experimentalists. The pioneers of knowledge. Aurori, Nethys, Arilu Vorlesh. I didn't expect you to mention Arilu Vorlesh. Interesting. You think so too? She is the greatest of the greatest. Just imagine, she managed to open a rift from Galarian to the Abyss. No one knew how, no one believed it possible. No one even dreamed of such a thing, and she just did it. It was the experiment of the century. I would have been so happy if I could have been in her place. Of course, some part of Galarian's population died as a result of her experiment, and the Crusaders are still wrestling with its consequences to this day. but the very essence of what Aurelia managed to do was a breakthrough of cosmic significance, both figuratively and literally. Sooner or later, the world wound will be closed, peace will return to Galarian. As for the victims of the ongoing war, they will be remembered as unfortunate but unavoidable sacrifices made at the altar of science. What were we talking about? Tell me about yourself. I'm an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the Encyclopedia Golianica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. That information should be enough to satisfy your curiosity, because I doubt I will be able to tell you more than that. Where are you from? That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. How did you become a scientist? That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. You have a circle tattooed on your shoulder. What does it mean? Oh, that! I do not remember the circumstances of its creation, but I like it. I prefer to think of it as a zero, no, nothing. A center point, an origin of coordinates. It reminds me how much of the unknown the world there is to explore. Don't you remember how you got this tattoo? That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. How can you just decide to forget important pieces of information? Oops, I picked the wrong one. The Encyclopedia Golianica will be published in 100 volumes, 1,000 pages each, plus the author's addenda, appendices added by future co-authors, and critical commentaries. Addenda indexation is still in question. I just like the number 100, but I'm not sure that I'll be able to keep within the established word limit. It will be a magisterial piece of scholarship that will become part of the mandatory curriculum of every educational institution worth mentioning. In it, I intend to describe every object, item, event, fact, and personality that is present on, or at least somehow related to Galarian. My calculations show that I have completed no more than 1% of this monumental book. Alright, let's really do how can you just decide to forget important information. This is just one of my many talents. The secret is to stop thinking about the thing you want to forget, and the main thing is to not remember anything you don't need. To filter it, to get to right to the essence, I'll teach you someday unless I forget. Do you remember your parents, your past, or is all of that irrelevant too? All of it is irrelevant on the grand scale of world history. I have no reason to remember such things. Forgetting your origin, knowing nothing about who you are and where you're from, that's terrible. What? What were we talking about? I'll stop torturing you with questions for now. Yeah? What were we talking about? I have to go. This conversation lasted approximately 5 minutes. By the way, did you know that that is the exact same amount of time the Inquisitors of Canavers need to find a defendant guilty? But to shake off Inquisitors chasing you takes 5 times as long. That experiment proved that running while clad in heavy armor is not burdensome for them at all. Alright, we'll get up here and talk to Florn, and then we'll head to the Tiefling base. I met Kaylessa. Under what circumstances? I hope you seized the opportunity to kill her. Are you certain of your allegations? I am. Her misdeeds are terrible, and proven with absolute certainty. She claims she doesn't serve demons. Of course she does. In an attempt to buy her life, she would stoop to the boldest and most egregious of lies. Whose word do you trust? Hers or mine? I let her go. Your decision is regrettable. I am afraid that in doing so, you've condemned her many future victims to death. I suppose it just means that bringing this hunt to a close falls upon my shoulders. I have to go. Good fortune to you.
I'm gone.
So you can have little conversations. These are the Tieflings here. The Order of the Flame Lance is here, and Ramian and the Desnins are down here. If you recruited Holrun, he'll be over here to this side. You can have short conversations with them, but it doesn't seem like they're really necessary for anything. We're going to go with the people we have here. We'll switch Woljif out after we clear this quest that we need him for. So, off to the Tiefling's hideout. Let's fight random enemies. Alright. They didn't start us with people behind us right away. Looks like a sure. We're just going to all rush
I
him.
won't let
There
you
might
hurt
be
my
another
friends.
one over here, but it is also possible that there's only one. Looks like just one. So we'll take his Bardish and be on our merry little way. Yeah, we'd like to go into the Tiefling side out. Alright, this is a section where I'm going to save scum it again. There are 2 medium difficulty persuasion checks that we'll need to get through in order to get a very good ring that is useful for anyone who's going to be ranged. In this case, it'll go to land.
Follow my steps.
Well, are you going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the moon of the abyss that they stole. I don't need anything else. Now you can take a good look at the suspects, and it'll kind of line them up for you. This one happens to be Melrune, and he happens to be the guy we're going to point out because he is the one that matches the description. I'm ready to give a name. The traitor is Melrune. You'll pay for this. Voitail and Hepsamera will get you in the end. I believe those are names of demons. Grab him. Take him away for questioning. And 30 minutes later, he confessed. Someone connected to the cult of Baphomet ordered him to steal the moon of the abyss. And the best idea he could come up with was to drag us into it. He got the scroll to take out the golem. He betrayed us to Erebeth so that he could swipe the amulet in the chaos. He thought we'd get nicked and he'd slink off to meet up with his customer. You've got the moon of the abyss? Let me look at it one more time. My whole life I've dreamt of holding it in my hands, if only for a second. He said when he got to the window display, the moon was gone. He's lying, of course. He had time to hand the moon off to the person who ordered it. Bloody cultists. I don't really give a toss. I'm just glad we got to the bottom of this. Well, what are you going to do now? Clear out of this place. The sooner the better. The city's dying. I don't want to die with it. The city would have already died if not for the people who stood up to defend it with weapons in their hands. So defend it. I'm not stopping it. It's your city. But we've always been outsiders here. Why would we fight for you now? And what are you going to do with that traitor? He'll be sent to visit his distant relatives on their farm, to think about what he did. Any more questions? I've never been to a farm. I imagine it's really pretty. Fields and apple trees and chickens. Yeah, sure, chickens. Well, I have to go. Good decision. I don't plan to hang around long either. Sister, you forgot something. What now? You should be happy to be alive. An apology. You promised to apologize to me, loudly, in front of everyone. We're alone now, but I still want to hear it. Well? Ah, that. So sorry. I suppose for being wrong about you this time. Don't think that just because you didn't act like a jerk this one time that it cancels out the rest of your record. I know all about you. Till next time, Woljif. So here's our first one, Diplomacy 20. Looks like we need to roll a 7. That was the most pathetic apology I've ever heard. We succeeded that one. Alright, fine. I'm sorry, Woljif. Let's part on good terms. And next one up here, we need a 9. And now apologize to me as well. When you falsely accused my ally, you accused me too. Oh, we got it right away. And I'm sorry to you too. And to make up for it, here. She pulls a key from her pocket and tosses it to us, and now I'm leaving. Very slowly. You made some impression on her. I've never seen Sister Karisme back down before. Listen, Chief, when you've got a spare minute, come see me. I have something I want to discuss with you. But for now, let's get out of here. I don't like sitting below ground when the building above is ready to crash down on our heads. So, the key that she gave us is for this door back here. And if she doesn't give us the key, There's actually different loot
Now what is
in this
that?
treasure chest. The ring that we're going
I
to
am
acquire,
helpful.
this
Am I
razor
not?
ring, this one right here. Oh, it doesn't say what it is yet. Let's pick it up first, I guess. And we are going to give it to Lan. So the ring allows the wearer to shoot into melee combat and give the enemy a -1 attack penalty for 1 round. So technically, if Lan goes early in the round, he can continuously give them a -1 attack penalty and they won't be able to hit. If he goes late in the round, he can give them a -1 attack penalty for the next round. That will essentially last until it's his turn again. And that is not available in the box if you do not convince
Let's
her
head out.
to apologize to you. So now we are out of here. And the next location we're going to head to is the Tower of Estrad, but we are going to stop by Defender's Heart first, just to talk to Woljif and get that part of his quest and conversation out of the way, and then we're going to drop him off there and pick Nenio up and bring her with us instead. Oh, Baphomet cultists.
Let us be careful.
This is why you don't really need to sleep, and you can kind of run around with low health. Most of these encounters that are random encounters, you're just going to steamroll over. So now we have actually finished everything to the north of this crater anyway, so we won't have to go back up there again. So again, we're going to stop by Gemmel real quick just to get rid of anything we can get rid of. Just trying to keep the weight low so that, we're able to pick up more things and bring more things back. I am also going to drop this book off in here real quick, I guess. I forgot that we picked up a book. I like to keep all the books. There's really no reason for it. I don't think you need to do it at all. It's just something I like to do. So this is the account book. It just kind of goes through the spending and gaining of money that the Tieflings had. And we'll go talk to Woljif here.
Psst, look, Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it?
So you did betray the Tieflings.
Oh, that cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
Did you really have the amulet this whole time?
Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that.
Remind me why this item is so important.
Do you really not remember it? Oh, I thought you would appreciate it. It's from the old man Fileman, the owner of the Ancient Trees and Wonders shop. It's the pride of his collection. The Moon of the Abyss, an amulet with a rare crystal crafted by an unknown maker. When I think of how much this thing is worth, it makes my head spin.
You've been searched by the guards. How did you manage to hide the amulet?
Thieves have their ways.
Why didn't you give the amulet to Karasme right away?
What? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Canabras and all this. So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth, and Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the Tieflings, and they never appreciated me anyway.
Why did you steal the Moon of the Abyss? You wouldn't have been able to sell an item so rare anyways.
Why, she asks. It's expensive, pretty. And it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it. She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up, but she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders. I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisme had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garen, I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
We're going to choose the good option here. You deceived the people who considered you a friend. That's not the way to treat your friends.
Family, friends. You know, some people don't believe in gods, so gods don't exist for them. And I don't believe in family. All that heartwarming talk about sticking together. Ugh. People like to say those things, but when push comes to shove, Sister Charisme used to say that us Tieflings were one family, and you see how that turned out. And did you hear that excuse for an apology? I did the right thing, and I was right to want to run when I just planned on stealing the Moon of the Abyss. Everything turned out as it should. Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief, I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family, and we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables. So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
All right. He does still have other conversation options, which we'll try to get later again. We're going to head out for now, though. I think that covers all of our... Let's see. That will be done a little bit later. This one actually doesn't need to be done. This is an incorrect timer. It will continue in the next act. That's defense. That's essentially done. That one's essentially done. So Estrad and Worm are really the two quests that we have left. And then we do have a good number of just random places we still have to go in the rest of Market Square that we have to clear up. And there are actually some differences in Market Square after we defend this area. There are some things that change. So for me, I would say you can go one of two ways, obviously, here, but I would usually go to the Tower of Estrad, and then after I finish that, go back to the Atelier here, and then go all the way down to Gorma's Mansion, back to the Party House, and then do all the Market Square stuff, and then take care of the things over here. It's likely that after we clear all four of these, and Market Square, as we're heading down to these will be the time at which the Grey Garrison will get attacked. So, we'll head on our way to the Tower of Estrad here. Oh, I forgot to level up Nenyo. We are going to level up Nenyo because we are going to sleep at the Tower of Estrad before we go in. Let's see.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Have him go that way. Where's the pooch? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I forgot to set Nenyo up as a... Well, let's set her up with Frost. She's running around hitting people with her quarterstaff. we're not ever going to take point blank shot and precise shot on Nenio. So in normal fights where she isn't using spells, she's not going to be doing a lot. We're just going to have her do the cantrip, which is only a D3 damage, and I forgot to level her up again. That's fine though, we'll level her up before we go to sleep here. And swap
Save the
around the
last
spells
one
that she
for me.
has. Okay, Doggy, you got him. Elephant, you got him. Let's have you guys
I'll cut you
hit
wide
him.
open.
And Sela, you hit here. I'm going to send her with the elephant, but I want her to be behind the elephant.
The Inheritor! Grab my blade!
Alright, let's get the rest of the way there. So what we'll do is we'll do this section, we'll hit this and this on the way back up, and then from here we're going to go directly to the Worm Expansion. First off, we're going to level Nenio. So for Nenio, I would just recommend going the entire 20 in Scroll Savant. The other option really would be going 15 in Scroll Savant and then maybe doing 5 in Lore Master, or some sort of a mix between Scroll Savant and Lore Master. I would say it's difficult with classes like wizards and sorcerers to split them off and have them still be as effective as they would have been if you just stuck through 20 levels of their main class. So we can see we already have spell penetration and we already have spell focus illusion. Like I said, because of that, we're not going to be looking at getting point blank shot and precise shot, because we're not going to use spells that utilize ranged touch attacks besides the cantrip, which we don't really care about if that hits. So what we do want to focus on is getting more spell penetration and getting further difficulty class, however we can get it, through things like spell focus. Not that we get a feat this level, we do not, but that's kind of the plan with her. So here, she technically has two things that are odd. So we're not going to be able to level them up to have all evens in the end. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 4 points into intelligence, and then actually at the end I'm probably going to put 1 point into strength. And we'll just keep her leveling the things that she's leveling. I'm not going to level her in religion, but Arcana, World, Lore, Nature, and use Magic Device. And for level 2 spells, I would suggest getting either Blur or Invisibility. I prefer Blur because Invisibility breaks as soon as you swing, and Blur is a very good tank buff. It's nice to have that on your tank just so they have some concealment. So if the enemies do not have True Seeing, they have a chance to miss. You can then also take one of these transmutation buffs here, but what I'm actually going to do with her is I'm going to take Burning Arc. Burning Arc does not have a 2-hit roll, so it automatically hits the first target and the other targets, and then it's just their difficulty. Well, you have to go through their spell resistance as well, but then they just have to make the reflex saving throw, and that's the only thing that matters. So, I'm going to go through these real quick. I don't think we have anything that matters. Nothing's really changed on the other people. For Nenio, until she hits level 5, Snowball is actually a better attack spell than Magic Missile. Magic Missile becomes better at level 5, in my opinion. The Snowball also maxes out at level 5, I guess. But it takes a ranged touch attack, which she's not great at, whereas Magic Missile does not take a ranged touch attack. It just hits. And you get 3d4 plus 3 damage with Magic Missile, whereas you would actually get 5d6 with Snowball. But you're much less likely to hit with Snowball. For this section, I'm going to fill the bottom row with magic missiles. Actually, no, we'll leave color spray in there. Vanish is actually kind of useful with her because you can. It functions essentially the same as invisibility. You can throw it on someone who's in melee range, and for their first attack, they will have the bonus to hit as if they were attacking from concealment. I think in this case, I'm just gonna throw one magic missile in there, and we'll throw one enlarged person in there. For this one, I'm gonna not use mirror image ever, because if she's getting hit with something, we've done something wrong with positioning. She does also have bond object, so I'm gonna put create pit in the bottom, and we're gonna put 2 burning arcs in here. Essentially, if we need to use 2 create pits, we can use the bond object to get 1 back in order for us to do so. That would probably be the spell that I would be bonding back, though. So let's take a quick rest here. And let's see if we can... Oh, no, I forgot to purchase those things again. So never mind that. Let's see. I think we want 1 extra person. Let's put Ember up there. In religion, and probably 1 extra person here. So Nenyo, we're going to use you there. And we'll take our rest. We're not regaining a lot for this rest, but we're going to have to rest somewhere in between the tower and Silken Thread. So if we just rest here, we use the buffs that we need for the tower, we should still be in good shape to go through the Atelier and then run over to Worms, and we'll take a rest at Worms again. I don't know if we'll need a rest. We'll see how Worms goes and see if we're going to need a rest at the party house or not. Alright, we are loaded into the Tower of Strahd. Well, I think we'll call this here for today. Please feel free to leave a like, create a comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.